Welcome back to English from A to Z, English in Real Life. Today, we're going to tackle something that can be tricky for, well, pretty much everyone, not just English learners. It's the art of small talk. You know what I mean? Those short, casual conversations with people you don't really know. It can feel so tough, but I promise you, we can break it all down into something that's actually pretty simple. So, let's get into it.
Okay, picture this. We've all been here. You get into a taxi and the ride's going to be a while. The driver is quiet, you're quiet, and the silence starts to feel loud, right? It's that awkward moment of, should I say something? What would I even talk about? It's a feeling we all know too well.
But what if I told you there's kind of a formula for this? A set of tools you can actually use to turn that awkward silence into a nice, easy connection. So today we're going to use that classic taxi ride scenario to build a real-life conversation, step by step. And by the end of this, you'll have the skills to handle these moments with total confidence. First things first, how do you even start? How do you get that conversation ball rolling in the first place? This is what we call breaking the ice. It's honestly the most important step, and luckily it's way simpler than you might think.
It really just comes down to these three little steps. First, just look around you. Is the traffic crazy? Is the weather beautiful? Just notice something. Second, a simple hello or hi with a little smile makes you seem friendly and open to talking. And third, and this is the big one, ask a question that can't just be answered with a yes or a no. You want to ask something that invites them to share a little bit.
All right, here is your very first tool for your conversational toolkit. When somebody asks you to do something, instead of just saying yes, try saying, sure thing. It's such a small change, but it sounds way more casual, friendly, and just natural. For example, in our taxi ride, the passenger says where she's going, and the driver just replies, sure thing. See how that sets a really positive, easygoing tone right from the very beginning? It's a perfect little opener. Okay, so you've broken the ice. That's awesome. But now comes the next challenge. How do you keep it going? How do you stop the conversation from just dying out after one or two sentences? That's what we're going to cover next.
The best way to think about it is this. A good conversation isn't a speech, it's a dialogue. It's like a game of catch, right? You throw the ball, they catch it, and then they throw it back. Or maybe it's like a dance. Both people have to be moving and contributing for it to work. It is all about that back and forth. So, the most important part is how you throw that conversational ball. A lot of the time it comes down to the kind of question you ask. A closed question, like, are you from here, can just stop a conversation cold. They say yes, and then what? But an open-ended question, something like, what's your favorite thing about this city? See, that invites a story. That keeps the game of catch going. Now, as you're talking, you might want to say something that could maybe be taken the wrong way. The phrase, don't get me wrong, is like your safety net. You use it right before you say something to signal, hey, what I'm about to say might sound a little weird, but my intention is good. It's an amazing way to clarify what you mean before they can misunderstand you.
And here is a perfect example from our taxi conversation. The driver has just asked the passenger her age, which, can be a little rude, but he immediately follows it up with this phrase. He's showing that he's not being critical, he's actually impressed. He just turned a potentially awkward comment into a genuine compliment. So smart.
Here is another fantastic tool for keeping that game of catch going. So after you answer a question, you've got to toss the ball back, right? What about yourself is an incredibly common, super fluent way to do exactly that. Now, a grammar textbook might tell you to say, what about you? But honestly, in everyday American English, you will hear what about yourself all the time. So right after our passenger answers the question about her age, she immediately does this. She tosses that conversational ball right back. It's so smooth, so natural, and it's the perfect way to show that you're interested and you want to keep the conversation moving.
Okay, so we've started the conversation, we're keeping it flowing, but small talk can be a bit of a cultural minefield. There are just some topics that are usually best to avoid, especially in Anglo cultures. Let's take a look at what those are so you don't accidentally step on one.
These are the big three you want to be careful with. First, asking a woman her age can sometimes be seen as impolite. Second, salary. This is a huge no-go. People are generally very private about how much money they make. And third, marital status. It's usually best to let them bring it up first because asking about it can sometimes sound like you're hitting on them.
And the perfect word for someone who asks too many of these personal questions is nosy. Nobody wants to be called nosy. It basically means you're sticking your nose into things that aren't your business. But what if you're just genuinely curious and you really want to ask a question that might be a little sensitive?
Well, guess what? There's a polite way to do it. The secret is to acknowledge that you might be crossing a little line and you sort of apologize for it in advance. It shows that you respect the other person's privacy. And these two phrases are like magic. Our taxi driver actually uses both of them. If you don't mind me saying so, is fantastic for softening a comment that could sound a little rude. And, excuse me if I'm being a bit nosy, but is the perfect way to lead into a personal question. It's almost like you're asking for permission to be just a little bit curious.
You know, every conversation, no matter how great it is, eventually has to end. And how you end it is just as important as how you start it. You always want to leave a good, positive impression. So let's talk about making a graceful exit. And just like starting one, there's a simple three-step process. First, you give a clear signal, something like, well, I have to get going, or, this is my stop. Second, you say you enjoyed talking to them. A simple, it was really nice chatting with you makes a huge difference. And finally, you close with something warm, like, have a great day.
Here it is, a perfect all-in-one sentence you can basically memorize and use in almost any situation. It hits all three of those steps: the signal, the appreciation, and the good wishes. It's polite, it's clear, and it leaves everything on a really nice positive note. So, if you take away just one thing from all this, let it be this. Small talk is not some kind of magic talent that some people are just born with. No way. It is a skill, and just like any other skill, you can learn it and you can practice it. We've broken it down into a simple process with specific phrases and tools you can literally start using today. You know, mastering this stuff isn't just about avoiding those awkward silences. It's about opening the door to new connections, maybe new friendships, and even new opportunities, all starting with one small conversation. So the only real question left is, who are you going to try these new skills with first? Thanks for joining me.